Hello everyone, I'm going to give you a quick demo or a tutorial on a brand new vape that I just acquired from the art of vapor called the Vapbong. And because it's so unique and I haven't seen much press or many reviews or videos on it, I figured I'd kick off because it's kind of a unique unit. So I won't get into where it's from, or I'll try not to. I'll try to be unbiased. I've used it only for probably about 7 or 8 sessions now, so I'm by no means an expert, but I'm just kind of sharing my usage up to now. So yeah, it's a simple little device. It's made out of ceramic or porcelain, and it's got a heating chamber here, which is controlled by a variable watt control device, which I have under my table here, and I currently have mine set at 9.11 volts. I usually try to dial it in around 9, and it's a fidgety little dial, so that's something you can replace. I'll show you on the cord. There's a way to decouple it from the actual device that they ship it with for voltage control. So at some point I'm going to investigate options to make that better. But anyway, or to improve on that experience. So anyway, you've got a heating element here driven by the power cord you just saw. And this is the herb chamber. We'll set that aside for now and we'll get back to it. And you can see up in here a little bit. I'm not going to tip it too far because it's got water in it. But there's a heating element up through here, and there are little holes around here, the air intake holes, and each of those are about, one, I'm not good at diameters, but maybe 1/8 of an inch in diameter, and there's probably 20-ish of them. I haven't counted them, but somewhere in that line you can see. And so you're intaking through these little holes around this chamber and then through a ceramic and electric heating element, a tube inside there, and then into this herb chamber. So there's very little draw restriction here because you've got all of this beautiful air intake that you can suck in, and it's really, there's no draw resistance with this thing. So then you got your herb chamber, and it's really simple. Just got a hole on one side for manipulating your bowl, and then a small hole here, which is put on by a pretty fine mesh screen, and they ship with a couple extras too. The screen seems like it might be kind of hard to replace, so I haven't even attempted that yet. It's kind of, I'm not exactly sure how it is, but it looks like there might be a little ridge in there, so it's going to be kind of fidgety to do that. But after cleaning it just with my brush, I'll show you in a minute. After cleaning it with my brush while it's still warm, you can barely see the buildup in there, and I have no reason to mess with it. And at some point, I think just dunking this whole thing in ISO would clean it pretty well. So anyway, because it's got this large of an air hole through it, it has, like I said, very little draw resistance. It's pretty amazing. And so yeah, the air then passes through here into your herb chamber, heats the herb through pure convection, and there's a water chamber underneath here. It's just pretty straight, simple. I can't show it on this video, but I've looked in while shining a flashlight in, so you can I have observed the guts of it. And it's basically just a down stem, a few holes in the bottom, water reservoir chamber, and a bong. And then on the back here, you've got a huge carb, and you really, to get any quantity or quality of hit, you need to have the carb pressed for most of the hit because it's just a huge air intake there. So you're going to want to manipulate that, or you're going to want to use that for the most part. It also comes with this little weed dish. And so, in demonstrations, you grind your herb or place it here and rip it apart. And then this hole is designed to place over here, and you kind of dump in there and then tap it around until it comes in. In practicality, because of the finish I have, it's kind of bumpy. And so that same surface here isn't really conducive to me getting all this stuff out of here. I'm afraid it'll just get gunked up. So I haven't even tried to use this one. I would suggest for future models that it looks nicer like this to match, but a lot of their other ones are smooth, and that would be a lot easier to use, I think, than this one. But that being said, I'm just going to set it aside for now. I don't really feel the need to use it. You know, I can fit my whole finger in there to manipulate the weed, or I, you know, can reach any of my tools in there. And so I haven't really felt the need. So to load is easy. You can either, you know, take a scoop, little Delta 3D Studio scoop and a brilliant cut grinder. You can just either scoop it in there, or really, you know, depending on how much you want to load, I'm just gonna put about, can't even see, it's a pretty new grinder, as you can tell. There's not much buildup on there yet. I'm gonna put about that much in there and just dump it in, and then tap it in, and then it's already, because it's very smooth porcelain on the inside, everything kind of falls off of it. So you can just kind of give it a couple taps and everything just ends up in the bowl down there. And then you just place your bowl on here. I've left some fresh herb in the chamber for about 20 minutes just as a test to see if there was any kind of browning or anything from being in proximity to the heater. And there was nothing. So that's one of the things I like about this. It's so easy to use. You just dump weed in there, tap it, put it on. You can think about something else, hit off of it, not hit off of it, and just kind of session at your own volition. So I really like that about it. It's really nice. I shouldn't block my hand. I apologize. This is my very first video, so I assume there are a lot of rookie mistakes here. One other thing to mention is the screen and the bowl size really seems like you could do massive amounts in here, or up to microdosing. I'm kind of a microdoser by nature at this point. And so, yeah, I can load the bottom of this screen up with which is about, I would say, maybe one vap cap full, and spread it across the bottom. But I've also had probably four or five times that much in a mound on there. And you can just milk huge hits off of that thing. And I've never seen anywhere close to combustion, even when it's, you know, further up and closer to the heater. It's really pretty astounding. So anyway, I'm going to shut up, and this isn't a review video necessarily, just a usage video. And so off we go. Because of the air chamber is pure porcelain, it's a really clean flavor, and it's that initial first, you know, terpy hit of everything you get there. Now for I don't know how close we can get up in there with the lighting, but I find that at the 9 voltage setting, it takes me about maybe 4 to 6, depending on how big the hits are, to extract vapor to where my preferred is, which is kind of a medium brown. I wouldn't say I'm a flavor chaser, like as bad as some are, but I don't go to the dark to too dark in the spectrum anymore. So I'm going to hit that again, and I don't know how conducive this is to actually seeing vapor. That first hit was lighter side, you know, it's that first initial draw that is typically lighter in consistency than most. So off we go for a second. And as you can see there, you start getting those big hits. Again, I don't know how well it translates. And you get about 4 or 5, probably get about 3 to 4 more of those off of this bowl, that size. And for the sake of my sanity, I'm not going to do that right now. So again, to clean it, just real quick, all you have to do at this point for me is take the screen side, and I'm using this because I don't have my regular T-polar here, and it's kind of a pain to get to. So you dump this side. I just kind of tap the screen with, this was just a Magic Flight brush, and that gets the most of it out of there. And then, yeah, I just kind of brush the extra around a little bit off the screen, and then on the back side down. Now the screen's almost completely clear, and you can see it kind of just pools up. Maybe you can see that in the bottom. And like I said, it's just a glossy porcelain, so you can just kind of tap it out, rinse with your finger, and you're done. It's ready to go for another bowl, or, you know, done with your use. So yeah, that's the device. Like I said, it's not a review, but I don't want to make this turn this into a review video. But I really like the simplicity and ease of use of this thing on a regular basis. It makes it super simple to just walk up to, turn on. Takes about, I don't know, I couldn't understand the German in the video instructions, but I would say after about 4 minutes or so, I've gotten pretty good hits off of it. I think once you get up into like some of the, you know, other desktop vapes, I think it probably benefits from getting up in the 5 to 10 minute heat up time, just because it gives that time for the entire mass of the ceramic to get up to a nice temperature. And so, yeah, I think that helps with extraction or with heat. So that's been my experience. Is I can hit it after, you know, after being on for about 2 minutes, but I think it's a more satisfying hit once this whole thing becomes really almost too warm to the touch, which it is now. It's a little too hot to touch it, and that usually takes. I haven't timed it, but I would.